Sadly, less than one-third of all Americans truly understand their rights and protections under the Constitution, and even less about the Bill of Rights, which was mostly written by James Madison in 1790-91, before he even became president in 1809. While we rebels in the colonies declared our independence from Old King George in 1776, the Revolutionary War did not end until General Cornwallis's defeat at Yorktown in 1781, and even then an official treaty was not in place until 1783 or so. Once the treaty was signed, it took another 8 years or so to draft the Constitution, and the Confederation Congress set 9 March 1789 as the date for the states to begin operating under the Constitution. But even then, there were those who opposed this new Constitution because there were no specific protections, or as we call them today, civil rights. The rights or protections from tyranny for us free people, to protect us from being trampled by our own government or the agents or representatives who seek power and to control common folk. Heck, we had had enough of this under the king. In quick and simple terms, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights protect you and me from the tyrants that would falsely strip us of our inalienable rights under pretext or color of law, and ultimately it allows us, the common American citizen, to be truly among the freest people on the planet. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and that is why I find actions such as this unnecessary and unwarranted threat of trespass and arrest made by a National Park Service VIP or volunteer so egregious, so wrong. Just because you've had a long day, these actions are not as innocuous as some people may think. They are dark, dangerous, and concerning, demonstrating the intent to abuse your role or authority over a fellow human for your own desires to go home. Concerning enough to me, in fact, to express my dissatisfaction and bring this to the attention of the National Park Service. Does the Park Service recognize our rights? Do they understand their mission? I've included their response at the end of the video. Let me know your thoughts on this interaction. It's nearing the end of the day now, but Montezuma's well, it's only a couple of miles away. So here we go. It's a small area and shouldn't take a lot of time to view. We park and walk the short distance up the trail to the well's overlook. It is scenic and peaceful here. I can only imagine what life must have been like for these people 500 to 1,000 years ago. It's at this point, about 4:05 to 4:10 on the trail, that we're greeted by a park ranger. Maybe though greeted isn't really quite the right word. The paved portion of the trail was narrow, and the ranger approached Jill much closer than 6 feet. Jill politely stepped off of the edge of the walk to maintain that 6 feet. It's all the rage right now, you know? Omicron, COVID. Well, Ranger Danger would have none of it. In a very unkind and unpleasant tone, Jill was ordered back on the trail. Guess it really didn't matter that this area is all rock and it's on the top of the well. There is no flora. But Ranger Danger's unkindness didn't stop there. Without any provocation or further need, the ranger explicitly told us, the park closes at 5, and if you're still here, you will be trespassing. And further, emphasized that the local law enforcement could be at the gates waiting to arrest us, trespassers. Wow. Jill and I are shocked at this unnecessary and very unwelcomed threat of a charge of criminal trespass. To me, a simple hi. I would just like to remind you all that we close at 5 today would have been sufficient. Personally, I think Pat has been chewing on the nightshade or could use some of that Jimson weed. Chill out. We continued our tour, though there isn't really much left to see here except for the pond and the cliff dwelling. The more we thought about Ranger Danger Pat's welcome, the more concerned we became, actually. Why? Why were we threatened in the first place with trespass? Does she exert this control over all visitors to the public lands or the national monument? Realize Montezuma's Well is a national monument, not a national park as created by Congress, but rangers are law enforcement, acting under the color of law. Think 42 United States Code Section 1983. Dangerously close in my opinion. Regardless, I hardly believe it complies with the policy or the, what would you call that, the conduct approved by the Department of the Interior. Upon leaving, before 5 p.m., mind you, we decided to have a dialogue with Ranger Pat and express our concern. Knock, knock. How are you doing?
Oh, hello.
So Pat, my wife and I were talking after our discussion with you, and we became concerned because we've never entered a park and been threatened with trespass, and it's concerned us greatly. And then to be told law enforcement would be waiting for us.
No, I didn't. Okay, I said sometimes law enforcement are here at the end of the day. Look, sir, my point in that whole thing, if you don't mind, I'll just step out here for a second. Right in my own. My point in this whole conversation is just when people are out having a good time, they lose track of time. And if you are in a park after hours, that is seriously what could happen.
Ma'am, I am 60 years old, and I know what trespass is, and I know the law very well. And to be threatened with trespass without having performed anything illegal or potentially illegal, it concerns me. And I want to make sure that when I leave here, you are not going to call someone and tell them that I was trespassing.
No, I never said that. I said if you're
Ma'am, you said if I'm here, it will be trespass.
If you're in the park after hours, it becomes a trespass in a national park. And it is.
Do you tell that to every person that visits your park?
What I do is by 4:15, I start telling people, hey, just so you know, this is when the park closes, you need to be out because it becomes
Is that not sufficient?
You know, to some people, no.
Okay, then those people I suggest you arrest for trespass. People like she and I who are obeying the law and the park rules, we do not need to be told we will be charged with trespass. Do you understand that?
You know, I get what you're saying. I fully do. But if you are a person that is not necessarily paying
If I were
attention,
a serial rapist, that would be another thing. If I were a person who was not, we are talking about violating the law, and a person under the color of law telling me that I will be trespassing. Pat, that's dangerous ground for you.
I disagree because the person had told me to let people know what to do and that they have to be out. It's law enforcement.
And they told you to tell people you'll be trespassing.
I don't know exactly the words. I mean, I'm sure he did because that is a thing. When a park says you cannot be, it's like if there's a business and they close at 5 and you walk into a business, then somebody.
The last time Walmart's told me I would be trespassing if I were there after they closed, I can't remember. Pat?
Well, for me, it felt like not welcome to our park. This is really a cool historical thing. Please take your time, but make sure you observe our rule. It didn't feel welcoming. I felt like here we are at a...
Trespass is a crime. And to threaten anyone with...
So is being in a park after hours.
That's what I'm saying. Trespass is a crime. And when that occurs, feel free to exercise every legal authority that you have. But do not tell people that have not committed any violation or any crime that you will be trespassing. That is unprofessional.
I apologize if you felt unwelcome, but I will tell you that when I do this, and we worked here 7.5 months. Another time, we're at 7 months now, and this is what we do. And almost every time we say that to somebody, they say, "Thank you for letting us know. You're right. We may have missed the time."
In closing, all I can do is recommend that Pat review the Simple Ethics for the National Park Service, written by Bruce Schundler in 2009. People don't just visit parks. They have special experiences in them. they have the best days of their lives in them. Simply stated, the Park Service has been entrusted with the hopes and dreams of both visitors and employees, and the memories and impressions of millions of people every year. Pat, you've failed. To the next visitors, I would ask that you please be more kind and treat others like you would like to be treated. Take care, guys. After our long adventure out west, I submitted the video to the Department of the Interior, National Park Service, for review. On 16 March, I received a reply from the park superintendent, Lloyd Masayumtua. I hope I got that name right. Mr. Masayumtua personally apologized for the incident, and from the reply, it appears that he truly understands the impact and the gravity. Further, the Park Service will be using this in their training to prevent reoccurrence. It's obvious why Mr. Masayumtua is in the role of superintendent. My take is he is someone that truly respects others and will take an opportunity here to turn this into a positive event. And isn't that what we want to achieve? So guys, the next time you're at a national park or monument or any public land and encounter less than respectful service, relay that. Relay it to those who are responsible. It's the only way things improve. And likewise, when you receive service or have a contact that is above or more than expected, let those people know and let the supervisors know. And Lloyd, thank you for the courtesy of a reply and using this event to improve the Park Service. Until next time, guys, be kind, be a good human. Take care.